was the most important vote cast in the modern history of America on foreign affairs? Yeah, it was Iraq. What does Hillary Clinton have to do to convince you that she has significant foreign policy judgment? She cast the vote for the war. I cast the vote against the war. All right. So, I mean, I think many of these things, I'm not here. Hillary Clinton's a friend of mine, and I respect her and I like her, truthfully. But I do get a little bit upset that people say, oh, you don't have the belt. Well, yes, I was not Secretary of State for 4 years. Somebody I know was Secretary of State for 4 years. But not only did I vote against the war in Iraq, I helped lead the opposition to the war in Iraq. Don't believe me. These young people know how to Google anything, and in 5 seconds, they can get up on your website the speech that I gave on the floor of the House in 2002 in opposition to the war. Check it out. And what you will find is that, and I say this with no joy in my heart, I went to too many funerals in my state. Too many funerals of young people. So there's no joy in my heart to tell you that much of what I feared turned out to be true. Who has the foreign policy experience? Who has the judgment? Okay? I would not have supported. It's very easy, especially for Republicans, to tell you how tough they are. I know it gets votes. We're going to crush ISIS tomorrow, and we're going to send the troops in, and we're going to destroy them. But people forget to ask, what happens the day after? What happens when you have regime change and there's a political vacuum? Okay? And that happened in Libya, where ISIS now has consolidated a great deal of territory. It certainly happened after Iraq. So what I believe is that I'm not a great fan of regime change. I understand there are terrible dictators out there, Gaddafi, Saddam Hussein, Assad. But we have got to be not just tough, we have got to be smart. And I've outlined a very specific proposal on how I believe we crush ISIS. And most importantly, what we learn is that we don't repeat the same mistakes as we made in Iraq by simply sending in American troops. That what we do is work in coalition. And what I also learned is from people like King Abdullah of Jordan, who is one of the few heroes in that area. And this is what Abdullah said. What Abdullah said is, yes, terrorism is an international issue, but it is primarily a Muslim issue. It is primarily a war for the soul of Islam against those people, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, who are hijacking their religion and converting it into a terrorist, intolerant religion. And he said, and he is absolutely right for a dozen different reasons, that the way to destroy ISIS is through Muslim troops on the ground with our support. That is what I believe. And let me be very clear. As President of the United States, I will do everything that I can to see that our young men and women in the military are not caught in a never-ending quagmire of perpetual warfare in the Middle East.